My name is Jonathan. I'm a North American sales lead here at ApprovalMax. So I do work with all of your different software. So if you are interested, if you're new to ApprovalMax, you'll probably be speaking to either me and my team or my team. And I'm joined by Alex Kesselman, our solutions engineer. I think one of the original employees at ApprovalMax as well. So it's an absolute pleasure to have you here, Alex.
Yeah, likewise, it's a pleasure being here and a pleasure to presenting all of these new updates that we've made for all of our different products for both Zero, QuickBooks Online, and NetSuite. And it is actually, I think, my favorite webinar out of all, because that's the time when we can actually reflect on what's been done previously, what features we released, what improvements we've made, and how it can benefit your business. So would be happy to hear your feedback on all of these different updates that we will going to present you today.
Absolutely fantastic. I'd like to say it's my favorite as well, but I also really enjoy when we have co-webinars with other apps, that work in the stack as well, because they're very generally quite enlightening when they're enlightening for specific industries, construction, non-for-profits, where we add just so much value to the entire process. So guys, just a few housekeeping things to keep in mind. Zoom does like to take a lot of your computer's memory. So if you are having issues, just feel free to close things that are unnecessary. We have a Q&A section available for any questions you might have regarding any feature that we speak about. We do have our support team on the webinar as well that are able to answer your question if we're not able to get to it directly on the webinar. Last but not least, we also have a poll that'll be coming at the end of the platform. So that's just for our interest and general future product development. So please feel free to enter your choice during the poll. If you are new to ApprovalMax, we're a powerful accounts payable and accounts receivable automation solution that gives you full control over your approvals. It's trusted worldwide by businesses, accountants, bookkeepers, outsourced CFOs to strengthen financial controls, and it's all within a single platform for even your multi-entity businesses.
Perfect. I think we
Do you
can
think
now.
let's get started with the new features? I'm
Oh,
excited.
I
Some of them
cannot
are even
wait. I
new to
cannot
me.
wait. And let's start with our Zero customers first. So you might be a bit surprised seeing purchase orders, because if you are familiar with ApprovalMax, you're probably already raising purchase orders. You definitely have seen the workflow for creating these purchase orders, but we've added quite a few new things here. And the main one would be towards our data extraction tool, ApprovalMax Capture. So let's imagine the situation when you or your employees, they've raised a quote to their, or maybe they've asked their supplier to provide a quote for different types of things that they want to purchase. They've sent them this quote, and what they will do next, once it's all being agreed, they would need to type all of those things manually into the purchase order creation form, which is kind of a bit of a waste of time, while you can just upload that quote and it should just extract the data from it. And that is exactly what this new improvement does for you. It's automatically extract the data from these quotes or from these purchase orders. You can upload them either just by dragging and dropping them into ApprovalMax itself, or you can email them into ApprovalMax. So the way it works, if you are familiar with ApprovalMax, when you are raising your purchase orders, typically what you would see, let me just select my demo company. What you would see, it will be just a regular form, let's say without no preview, where you need to provide details about your supplier, about your line items, if you want to upload any attachments, provide delivery address, and things like that. But now we've added a ApprovalMax Capture on top of that. So instead of you will be manually adding things here, you can just take a quote. For instance, I do have a quote from ABC Furniture, which consists of around 30 different line items. So if I'll confirm my choice now, within 5 to 15 seconds, depending on my internet connection, it will automatically extract the data from that quote into my purchase order. So I won't need to waste my time doing that manually. As we can see now, we've got our supplier name, we have our reference number, we have all our line items, we have even our account codes, because previously I've used already the quote from that supplier. So it's automatically applied these values. So all I need to do right now is to simply submit it for approval. It took maybe 5 seconds for me to perform the whole operation, to submit my quote for the data to be extracted, checking the data, and then pushing that forward for approval. So now, ApprovalMax Capture available for your purchase orders.
I can imagine this is fantastic for especially construction companies that generally have large purchase orders from single suppliers. It's just so much easier now to move the one to the other. If you've got multiple projects, this is a massive time saver.
Exactly. And actually, the next improvement, the next feature goes alongside with that. There is 2 features straight away. They will be on 2 separate slides, but I will start with the first one. And that is the creation of the credit notes. Again, you might be a bit surprised. We have a credit note workflow already. But now we've made the whole process looks much more seamless. So you can now seamlessly create the first purchase order using our ApprovalMax Capture, then generate then bill out of this, or again, use ApprovalMax Capture to generate the bill, perform bill to PO matching. And if something is wrong with the bill, or maybe something wrong with certain things from that bill, you can now issue the credit note out of ApprovalMax. Instead of going into zero, raising a credit note there, pushing that into await an approval status, so then it will be sent back to ApprovalMax. Rather than wasting all of that time, you can now perform all of this set of operations directly from the same platform. And the way it works, you have multiple ways with your credit notes. So the first way, what you can do, let me just change that to, again, demo company. In your approval workflows under the AP credit note workflow, if we'll take a look inside, it will look just like we used to with any other workflows. But now we also have additional table. You can now create your credit notes in ApprovalMax, either manually or by using ApprovalMax Capture. You can do the same thing by receiving those credit notes via email, or I will also show you that you can create a credit note out of the bill directly. So the first one, if you would like just to create a credit note separate from the bill, all you would do, just find a plus sign right next to the request creation. It will take you to the regular document creation form where you will apply details about the supplier, your line items, you can upload your attachments, or the other option would be to use ApprovalMax Capture for that in case you already have a credit note. And let's say I do actually have a credit note that I want to use now. So let's say we've got a credit note again from the ABC Furniture. If I'll confirm my choice, it will now extract all the data from that credit note and apply that on the right side of the screen. So that is one option how we can deal with these credit notes. There's a second one. Let's not waste for it to extract the data. But there is a second option. Imagine that you have this flow. When you raise the purchase order, it's been approved by all the relevant people. Now you receive the bill, you perform bill to purchase order matching. So everything is fine now. You have all of your bills, but now you spotted something. Maybe this ergonomic office chair that you've ordered is broken and you would like to make a refund. You would like to send it back to the supplier. All you need to do right now is to click on add to credit note, and it will automatically generate a credit note out of that bill. So it will include already all the information, including all of these attachments. You can easily just provide what should be the reference number in case that's needed, or maybe if you would like to remove certain lines, let's say I don't want to import chairs, or maybe LED desk lamp, or maybe adjustable standing desk, they should stay, but ergonomic chair, office chair should be sent back. So I will now submit it for approval. So actually the second slide that I wanted to show you would be about the ApprovalMax Capture, that it is now not only available for purchase orders for our zero customers, but it is also available for our credit notes, both for accounts payable and account receivable. So now you have a seamless process across all of your accounts payable processes and account receivable processes. Next one, coming to our QuickBooks Online users. Previously, we already had bill to purchase order matching, and we just quite recently updated that you can now match multiple bills to multiple purchase orders. However, there were certain things that you've been asking us that will just allow you to speed up the process, making the process a bit easier. For example, when you're raising a new bill, a person who is raising that bill perhaps would like to match that against the purchase order straight away. You don't want to wait for any approvers to do that, maybe for his accountant to do that. Accountant who is raising that bill want to do it themselves. So now you can match your bills against the purchase order during the bill creation process. On top of that, if you have APO and you've just trying to copy that into the bill directly from ApprovalMax, it will automatically match all of these line items into the bill. So it will be all automatically linked together. So you won't need to do that manually, especially if we're talking about 10 or maybe 20 different line items on that bill. So it makes your life much, much, much easier. And the way it will look like from ApprovalMax. So let's change that to QBO. So let's say I've got this bill from Bayside Club. So right now, actually, let's do it in a bit different way. I'll take the purchase order from Bayside Club right now. So what I want to do, since I know maybe I already received the bill and I know it's going to be exactly the same. So what I can do, I can just take the already approved purchase order and I can just simply copy that into the bill. What will happen at that stage? It will take all of these line items, it will apply that to an invoice, and it will automatically match that against the purchase order. So here we can see that it's already being linked, and I can just decide what I would like to match with. In my case, actually, two of these line items hasn't been matched because previously in our webinar today for EMEA market, I've already matched that PO, I already matched that bill to the purchase order. And I've removed one of the line items. It is now for $50. So here we can see that the remaining balance is minus 50. So it automatically takes your historic data and removes if something is not match up. But here, if something you would like to add on top of that, you can also select which purchase order line items you would like to match it with. So that is on the bill to purchase order matching side. Now it just allows you to perform these operations in a much quicker way. The second feature that we've recently released, it is actually not on the presentation just yet because we released it just yesterday and we had no time to add that into the presentation, but I still want to spend some of our time talking about it. If we'll take a step back into our approval workflows, you would probably know that ApprovalMax Capture already available for our bill approval workflow. You can already submit your bills through ApprovalMax Capture, it will be automatically extracted and then sent for approval. But what about expense reports? What about our employees who want to send their receipts or maybe invoice from their hotels while they've been on the conference? How would they manage their expense reports? Well, now we have a solution for you, and that would be ApprovalMax Capture for expense workflow. No matter if you are creating your bills in ApprovalMax as a requester, or if you're emailing them by using ApprovalMax Capture received by email, it will be automatically extracted. It will be automatically extracting all the data from these receipts or from these expense reports, and then later sent for approval, depending on your workflow. So the process here is exactly the same as you would expect it to from bills, but now it is just for your expense reports. That is a new addition. It is currently under beta. So if you want to give it a try, give a shout out to your customer success manager, and they will be able to enable this feature for you. But we're already testing that internally, and we will be happy to give access to you so you can give it a try.
I know this has been one of the most requested features since we came out with Capture from the clients that I've been speaking with. So I'm very excited to let a lot of our customers know that this is now finally available for our OCR tool.
And I can definitely see why. It makes perfect sense when you're already dealing with AP function, and when you're already dealing with incoming bills. Your employees might also want to find the benefit of use the automation and just allowing them to email their expense reports without having a headache of manually typing in all of those things. Just makes perfect sense. Because
Oh,
previously,
absolutely. And it's so tedious and it's so error prone if you're doing a lot of bills at the same time. So now to have it captured it's really going to reduce that error rate significantly.
exactly. But now let's move forward. And the next update is for our NetSuite customers. So those of you who are familiar with ApprovalMax for NetSuite, some of you have been asking about the journal entry approval workflows. Because in NetSuite, though, you can, of course, build the approval workflow in SuiteFlow. Sometimes it's actually quite tedious and maybe not very beneficial when you will be creating those journal entries within NetSuite itself, because you need to add all of these different users, you need to add all of these different approvers, and you need to pay for these different additional licenses. Now, ApprovalMax adding a new workflow for you, which will allow you to create journal entries directly from ApprovalMax, run it through the cycle of your approvals. Moreover, you can straight away from the journal creation select the reverse date, so then it will automatically provide the full picture when the journal will be posted, when it should be reversed. And now it's all can be done through these multi-step and multi-tiered approval workflows. In the product, I'll just change that to my NetSuite company now. Under your approval workflows, you will now find a new workflow on the bottom of the screen called the journal entry workflow. It looks quite the same. You have two options here. You can either create your journal entries within ApprovalMax itself. You can give access maybe to your junior accounting staff. Let's say it will be Alexander, Alex, and Ilya who is allowed to create these journal entries. And you can limit your users in terms of which account codes they're allowed to use, tax codes, departments, classes, or locations, or any other custom fields that you might have in your NetSuite company. The other option would be if you're already creating your journal entries in NetSuite and you would like to continue doing so, you can simply put your journal entries into pending approval status. And once it's under that status, we will automatically pull them into ApprovalMax and then push through your approval stages. As for the workflow, it looks exactly the same. So you can build as many approval steps with as many approvers with as many rules per approvers. And of course, you can also provide the review step, the auto approval step, just like you would expect from any other workflow on the list.
It's always one of my favorite questions when people on a call ask, about ApprovalMax. They're always concerned about when adding a bill or a journal entry that people will either make mistakes or feel flustered because they've got access to the all the accounts, all the classes, all the categories, depending on what system you're on. And one of the best things about ApprovalMax is that we can limit, or you can limit, everything that a person can see. Not only to make it easier for them, but to reduce error rates and just make the entire process, very, very simple and straightforward for anybody submitting documents into the platform.
Exactly that. Moreover, in terms of the restricting any potential fraud risks, just recently, about a week ago, I had a conversation with one of our existing customers, and he told me a story that happened just on late December last year, when they receive quite a lot different fraudulent bills for their approvals. Typically, they can spot them straight away, but this time they received a very sophisticated and very fraudulent bill from their CEO for $25,000. The thing is, each and every bill has to go through the ApprovalMax approval workflow, no matter if it came from the CEO. It's just in their habit to run all of their bills. And luckily, the last stage of approval was the CEO, who straight away you could see that, hey, I've never raised that bill. It's not mine. So of course they rejected that, and they've saved $25,000 just like that. They've paid for the whole, it's repaid the subscription 5 times in just one single bill.
Absolutely. Welcome to the world of AI. It used to be so easy to see these phishing emails and these fraudulent emails because there'd be a spelling mistake or the grammar would be atrocious. But now the AIs are just there to make them absolutely perfect and industry specific, lingo specific. So yeah, implementing a robust approval process it has to be the way to go.
Exactly. The next one, I think it's one of my favorite ones. It is for now only for Xero customers, but don't worry, our QuickBooks Online customers and our NetSuite customers, that is on the way. We are now just testing that with Xero, and later we'll be, of course, rolling that out for other products as well. And it's called the group of accounts. Imagine the situation when you have 10 or maybe 50 approvers in different departments, and each approver approving set of account codes. Let's say they have 10 different account codes that belongs to expenses. Other people will be approving things that belongs to travels. Third people will be approving things that belongs to marketing. Of course, you can just manually add all of these account codes per each and every person, and then multiply that per all of your approvers and multiply by all of your different workflows. It might take quite a few hours to do that. And then imagine if you've changed something in your chart of accounts and you now need to change those things across all of your workflows, across all of your people, across all of your approvers. So that's definitely not the most pleasant user experience. And we wanted to change that. And now we're happily presenting you the group of accounts, which allows you to create, well, the name speaks for itself. It allows you to create groups of accounts. But how does that work? So let's take a look into my Zero account, into my Zero workflow. Say I have this first approval stage, regional managers. Previously, what you would do in case you would like to apply account codes to the person, you would select account code matches, and then you would select a bunch of different account codes that you would like this person to start approving. Multiply it by 4 people that I have here, and you would have a long list of all of these different account codes that is very impossible to manage. With group of accounts, if you click on this icon that some people from some of my colleagues are saying it looks like pancakes, some are saying that it looks like a barrel. I prefer pancakes, to be honest.
Yeah, I too prefer pancakes.
Perfect. Now with two of us prefer pancakes, so that's great. And here we can just create a new group, and let's say this one will be called maybe sales department. We want these guys to be approved department. We want these guys to be approving only things that belongs to the sales department. Create. And now it will show us a list of all of our account codes, and we can just decide what should be applied to that group. Let's say it will be sales, it will be, let's say, purchases, it will be bank fees, it will be consulting, maybe something else. So we can add all of these different account codes to the group, save it, and now within the workflow, rather than having a long list of these different account codes, what we will do, we'll just select a group of account, a sales department. Now having only one thing, which will already include 4 different account codes. And if we'll apply these account group to different users under different workflows, all we'll need to do in order, if we want to change certain things, is to go again under group of accounts, add an account code to that group, and it will be all applied automatically. And I think out of all the features that we have during this quarter, this one is the game changer. I really enjoy the way it all works, and I really like how we can easily now manage all of our workflows. All right.
Yeah, I think it's really nice when you, especially when you add new accounts, right, to the sales department, instead of having to go into each and every one and change all the sales in the approvers and the requesters, you just add it to that account code, to that group, and you're good to go immediately.
Exactly. And this is just the first step for us. So right now we're only adding group of accounts only for Zero, and it's already available within the product, by the way. So if you want to give it a try, if you're under advanced or premium plans, you can already try it out. But later we'll be rolling that out not only to the other products, but also to different other dimensions, say tracking categories, say suppliers or vendors, say locations or classes. Those things can be easily grouped as well, and then later added to all of these different people. But for now,
Fantastic.
this is just the first step
Mhm.
towards that process. The next 3 features, I'll go very quickly through them. They are only for Zero, and they're only actually for our UK customers. And if I'm not mistaken, we had no one in the group who are from the UK,
Yes, I
right?
double checked. There's no one from the
No one
UK.
from the UK. Okay, we can actually even skip the whole thing. I'll just briefly take you through that, because later, of course, we'll be rolling that out for other markets as well, so you would at least know what to expect. So as for now, we do have a new product called ApprovalMax Pay. It's currently available only for our UK customers and only for domestic payments, and it allows you to connect your bank account directly to ApprovalMax. So there are several things that we've added as an improvement. First of all, when the batch was already created, when it's already being sent for approval, when it's already ready to be paid, you as a CFO, or maybe someone who is making decision in terms of how much money we're going to spend right now during that batch payment, you might want to remove certain line items. Perhaps you're out of the budget. Perhaps you don't want to pay to that supplier just yet. Maybe you want to put that on hold for some of the other reason. Rather than you will be rejecting that batch completely and rebuilding that from scratch, you can just remove a specific line item and continue forward. The second one, we are now adding ApprovalMax Pay onto mobile app. Again, something that I hear a lot, especially if we're on the conference, people approaching us, those who are existing customers saying, hey, it's such an amazing tool that you now have a mobile app which will allow us to make all of these approvals on the go. Like right now, I came from Subway, I came to this conference, and I already did all of my work while sitting on the metro. So now we're adding additional layer to that. Not only you can approve your purchase orders or you can approve your bills, you can now also approve your batch payments all on the go. And the third tool for that, again, for ApprovalMax Pay, would be something that only probably people from the UK will know. It is a confirmation of pay. It is actually not just a tool, it's more connected to the governmental, it's connected to government. So ApprovalMax allows you to check the information about your payment details, where you're going to pay. Say you received the bill from some supplier, you're now adding the payment details into ApprovalMax that you would like to pay, but it shows you that it's been either full match or no match. So maybe account name, account code, and sort code, they are not kind of match ups. So the money goes to someone else, and it's actually not to that organization that it's being mentioned on the bill. So it's now being clearly shown to you when you're creating your payment details, when you're creating your batch, when you're executing the payment. It's all works alongside with our traffic light system for the ApprovalMax Pay. So it really gives you additional layer of security when you're making these payments. But as for now, ApprovalMax Pay is only for the UK market. So maybe next year, maybe sometime later this year, we'll be rolling out to other markets. So hopefully this will be very useful for you very, very, very soon. And the last but not least would be probably my one of my most favorite features. It's called Nudge. For some reason, a lot of our customers were voting for this feature quite heavily. They all wanted to see that in the product. And this feature allows you to, well, nudge people who are not doing their work on time. You can actually clearly see that here on the right side of the screen. This lady is so happy because she just pressed on button nudge. And now everyone who never did their approvals on time received notification about that. So it keeps a history of all of these nudges. It creates a record under audit report showing who made the nudge and who actually been nudged. So you can then clearly see who are not doing their work on time. You can create a report and maybe proceed with some actions towards such people. It takes just one click to submit such notifications. It's clearly seen to everyone. They will be receiving their notifications, and it's just a great way for you to keep control on certain things. As an example, you might have a queue of, let's say, 10 or 20 different bills that are awaiting your approval. But there is one that you really need to be approved right now. You cannot really wait for another week or another day. So you will nudge people for that specific request. They will straight away see what's going on. They will approve it or reject it, and the job is done. So it's a great way to remind about your work.
And Alex, you said it's one of our most voted features, but I can also tell you when I'm demoing ApprovalMax for new customers, and I get to the nudge feature, and if I've got multiple people on the call and multiple people from the finance department or from the accounting department, they all give each other like a nod. They're like, "Yes, this is going to really help us reduce that chasing time."
Yeah, 100%. Okay, we're actually coming to the end of today's product update webinar. There is one poll that we would like to ask you to vote for. And what is your current approach to AI if you're an early adopter? All right, I think we can end the poll here and I will share the results. And as we can clearly see, majority, like 47% is still dabbling, but still figuring it out. But quite a few people, 35%, are early adopters and all over it. And maybe just a few, 18%, are still waiting to see where it goes, because that's actually probably the best approach. There is still a long way for us to move with AI and just to see what will be our next step, where these tools will be going to.
Very, very eye-opening. But also, I'd also like to give everybody a thank you for joining the webinar. If you are new to ApprovalMax or interested, we do have a 14-day free trial. No credit cards required. Just sign up, integrate your platform, and start getting your approval workflows going. We do have 24-hour support that's available. But if you're interested in a one-on-one demo, just feel free to go to approvalmax.com, contact our sales team, and one of our account executives will join you on a call where they can take you step by step through the entire platform, but also if you're looking to set up, you can go ahead and share your screen and they'll just help get everything ready for you for your company. So don't think that this takes a long time. I'm often asked the question about implementation periods and how long it takes. I've gotten clients with complex workflows online within an hour-long Zoom call. So it's a fantastic platform, very easy to use. So I look forward to any of the newbies that are on this call to reach out to our team.
In addition to that, we also run weekly webinars. So in case you just want to see basic information in terms of how these workflows are created, first steps, feel free to register for these webinars. I'll be the one to run you through the platform, and you will straight away, after 30 minutes, will know the way ApprovalMax works. Actually, the one just finished right before this webinar. So 20 minutes before that, I finished the QuickBooks Online product update webinar, the weekly webinar. Sorry about that. It's already end of the day. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us here today for this product update webinar. We cannot wait for the next product update webinar in a few months. We are actually preparing some of the very big releases for both NetSuite, for QuickBooks Online, for Xero. We'd be happy to hear your feedback on that. Thank you so much. Have a lovely rest of your day, and bye-bye.